Okay, good afternoon, guys, or good morning, or wherever you are in the world. So I hope everyone's well. I nearly didn't come on the stream, actually. I've been ill this morning for some reason. Just felt really dehydrated and had one of the worst headaches I've ever had. But it seems to be subsided a bit now. So, no idea. It's unusual for me. So I'm here anyway. It's going to be a short one today, though. I don't feel great. So maybe just an hour and a half. We'll see. See how I get on. But I've started on occasion getting migraines again. I used to get them years ago, but I get without the pain, which is a good thing. But your eyes go a bit funny. It's like staring at a bowl for a while and taking your eyes off. You see patches, and it makes you feel a bit sick. And I had one about 3 months ago here, and I had one yesterday, so I had one this morning, so a bit odd. I don't know whether it's staring at this white screen. I might see how I get on. I might have to turn it to black. We'll see what happens. But I stare at this screen for 4 hours a day, and I know they have a... Well, to be honest with you, I've had this is the third half-litre water I've had today, and I've also got some electrolytes as well, so I've stuck a teaspoon of that in there, but... Yeah, strange. I woke up this morning with a really thick head, feeling really dehydrated, and then I got up, started moving around, and I started getting that patch in front of my eye. So I know my wife sort of works at admin, and she said they have these screen protectors on to stop the light. I don't know what it is, but it might just be a phase. Sometimes you get these things, don't you? They'll last a couple of times and then they'll disappear. But if it continues, I might have to maybe change this chart to black or something. I don't know. What it does to your eyes staring at a white screen 4 hours a day. I don't know. You wouldn't have thought so, but you never know. So, Indy, how you doing, bud? How are you? What? Stop Hunter, good morning. Rodian, how you doing? Indy, Scalper, how are you? Big jug of water, yeah. I'm on my third bottle of half-litre water here, so how are you before today? Drinking a lot of water? No, actually, I don't tend to drink a lot. Do you know what? I think the last few days, for some reason, I've been overloaded on the coffee, and I think I just haven't been backing it up by sort of some decent fluid. So it may have been leading up to that. I don't know. Since I started trading, I've put about 2 stone on. I'm nearly 15 blooming stone. So I did start to do that. That meat diet, that carnivore diet. I thought I'd do that for a couple of weeks. And I did it for a couple of days, so you come off the sugars, don't you? And then I was drinking a lot of coffee because I usually have a couple of sugars in my tea, but you can't have sugar, so instead of having the tea, I can't drink it without sugar, so I've gone on to coffee. So I think the combination of the coffee and the lack of sugars has just done me in, I think. But trouble is when you sit down, but I have started going to the gym, but it's easy put on, isn't it? So, market is about to open. So, we've had that. We obviously had some news this morning, and that dropped that down a bit. When it didn't recover quickly and went sideways, I thought it was going to be like the other day. Sometimes we'll recover, other times we'll just continue down. So, I thought this may just continue down, but we may get a leg up and the continuation down. I don't know. Sometimes it recovers everything really, relatively quickly. And other times, it did the other day, just carried on going down. So, healthy body, healthy mind. Yeah, absolutely. You neglect your mind, really, don't you? I suppose it's got to be on. It's okay just looking after your body, but you got to make sure your mind's focused as well. So I've got to start drinking water. I go through phases, of guzzling it and then not touching it for ages. And but yeah, if you're not drinking water, I suppose diet and fluids can affect your mind as well, which adversely can affect your trading, I think, can't it? So. And the fact that I know a lot of you guys don't know what cricket is. I think Rodian will and Wood does. But we got the Cricket World Cup and England absolutely got batters yesterday. So that hasn't helped. Okay, so I'll try again. Market's officially open. It's doing that little bit of a shudder up and down. So we can have a leg and a leg. Or what? If we can get a push up, maybe a high low, we'll see. But we're either going to continue up or... Obviously, there is a possibility that we could start coming down. It just depends on this. As I say, sometimes it recovers, and we all know that, don't we? Sometimes it recovers, and other times it just continues on down. So I think after this break, this initial push after the drop, this break will, I suppose, if we carry on up, fair enough. Otherwise, we could come down. But Start to look like it may... Okay, so a leg and a leg. That's quite bearish, but it's congested. It could go up or down as far as I'm concerned. I've got no idea. You like to think it's going to make a new high from here, but... okay, that's positive. See if we can get a higher low here somewhere, then I'll come back a little bit. We just get an order ready.
Order submitted.
Just in case we drop below that one. It is frustrating when you see 3 green bars like that. I'm pretty much quite confident to think it's going up now, but there's no entry at the moment. Let's have a look. I was hoping we'd get a drop below there. Okay. Shame, really. No point in keeping that up now. We're close enough, aren't we? That's tempting. Not now that's happened. Let's have a look. That's a big old bar, that is, isn't it? Right, I'm going to stay out of this, I think. It's probably going to go up, but it's flickering around.
Order
I'm not
canceled.
too sure about that. I don't like the way it's done that. So I'm just going to play the safe game and stay out of that because I've got a bad feeling. It is a higher low. If it can break that, then I think it will go, but it's probably going to go up, but I just don't like the way that's happening. It is clearly going up. If we get above that line there, then I expect it to make a new high. Well, I say make a new high, break the highs of that. It's probably going to smash up now, I'd say. There we go. Not quite the smash I was expecting. Maybe another couple more ticks. Okay, so in fairness, if I'd have got in there, I'd have come out for 2 points, and it looks like it's made it, but I just don't know. It's a little bit congested as well. And I don't like that. That's getting a bit scary. So, okay, so yeah, I'd have got me 2 points. But I don't like when it starts flickering around like this. Okay, it's done what it's supposed to do. It did look like it was going. I just don't like it when it's... I don't know, some traders, what's the cricket? It hasn't reached Scotland yet. You know what the cricket is, don't you? Yeah, I don't think you guys... but it's funny. A lot of the US guys haven't got a clue what it is, but obviously it's big popular in the UK. It's popular in sort of places like India, Pakistan, places like that. It's also very big in Australia and South Africa, and obviously the Caribbean as well. But yeah, it's not. But we got absolutely battered yesterday, which was the good start. So yeah, but a lot of you US guys, I know what knows what it is, and Rodian obviously is from that neck of the woods, Australia way, so they'll know what it is. To be fair, I don't think the Scottish would be any good at it anyway. You've got your own sports anyway. Leave our cricket alone. You don't like cricket? Yeah, it's not everyone's cups of tea. Sometimes it can go on, but I like test matches, and test matches can last up to 5 days. And when they call them test match, it really is a test on your endurance. But there's a lot of what they call 2020, which is it's a lot of a shorter game. You know, everyone wears bright colours and it's floodlit and all that to try and get people in. But it's still in whiskey sport. Well, if it is, mate, you're very good at it. I will give you that. Put it that way. But who was I watching? I'll tell you, I watch a little bit. Eddie Hall, World's Strongest Man. Was it 21 or 2020? He was in. He's got a YouTube channel. He was in Scotland doing the tossing the caber, and there was something else you toss, a big heavy metal. It's like one of those, those kettle weights. You chuck one of those over a post or something, over a bar, and another one as well with a fork and it's like not haggis, sheep's. Well, I don't know what it is. You pick this thing up and you chuck it over, pick it up with a pitchfork. But yeah, the Scots have got some of their own stuff, haven't they? Don't the Scots just go out in the field and throw trees? They certainly do, mate. I've got to say, there was a guy half the size of Eddie Hall, and Eddie Hall struggled, to be fair, but I think there's a real technique to it, isn't there? But if you ever do get over to the UK way, you want to get up Scotland, it's absolutely spectacular. You get out the country there, and it is absolutely spectacular. I've driven around it a few times, Scotland, but never as like a tourist. But I plan to. I want to do a trip of some of the distilleries and that there, and get absolutely bladdered on the way. Hail baling, that's what I was thinking about. Yeah, hail baling. Yeah. What's going on here now? We've hit this high. Are we pushing down? There's a failure there. Failed second entry long. I'm tempted to take that.
Order submitted.
Because that's triggered. Okay, it's getting a bit congested now. I like that because there's sort of like a second entry long there, but that's triggered and that's triggered. This is looking a bit trappy to me. We need to get below there, but that's a big old no, that's a big old bar then in that case. No, I think it's going to come down if it traps them, but it's a little bit sideways. Okay, I'd say that's coming down. I'd have put my order there. Well, below that specifically. And it's probably going to come down, but it's a bit late now, I think.
Order cancelled.
So I would have put mine one tick below there. Maybe just for a couple of points. It certainly did that. Okay, so yeah, so we had this channel up, we had a break, clearly made a new high, a quick drop. There was a failure there, which didn't trigger luckily because that would have stopped it out. But there was, yeah, so that turned into not a bad trade. Anybody take that one, did they? The trap. I was tempted to put an order below there. The only slight disadvantage with that is it's a 4-point risk. Which is a little bit more than I like to take, but we had played out that channel, so let's have a look now. There's nothing over here, is there? Let's just put that there just in case it becomes something of interest. I was very tempted to take that. In all fairness though, it is a bit sideways and it could trigger you and go a bit more sideways. There's another slight concern. I don't think it is anyway. There was also the possibility of a bigger channel there. I don't know whether there is. It's a bit too early to tell, but it is possible. So I'm going to get rid of it for now. But just the way that sort of sat there. Yeah, if you toss quite a lot of stuff, don't you, Scott? Got to say, I'm a haggis fan as well. I do enjoy them. I love them actually. I don't know if you US guys have had haggis. I suppose so. You can get anything over there, can't you? From anything from anywhere. But I do like haggis. And as you know, I certainly like the single malt. Okay, so yeah, not a bad trade. It is a bit congested, but it's just the trade wouldn't have got me in. But we had a push down and it goes sideways. A lot of times it'll do that, push down, go sideways, and then down again. There was the failure, but the bit that interested me was the trap there. You put it below there, so just in case anybody took that thinking we're going to maybe retest. I guess the animal has one leg shorter than the other. Oh my good grief. £75 for a haircut? I don't know, women spend that sort of money on hair. £75. I really got to get rid of that app. Okay, so yeah, we're clearly coming down here. I kind of like these size channels, I do. Because they're very, very obvious. Perfect touch, perfect enough. They fit really nice, and you know, that's the trouble. Sometimes these bigger channels, if you haven't got them right, they can affect your trading, but when they're as obvious as this. So where are we likely to come down to? So there is some congestion along here. You can see it. So it may do a bit of sideways. We may even get a break. So let's have a look. Where do you guys call overnight lows? Because in the UK it's afternoon lows. So you call it there or there? Would you call the overnight, you guys in the US, do you call that the overnight lows? The current low of the day? Or are you more here? I suppose it's got to be here, isn't it? Okay, I had a feeling we're going to get a break once we hit congestion. Let's see if we come down. I do wonder now whether we get some downward movement now. After that initial push, I wouldn't be shocked if we, obviously depends on where this finishes, if we end up having something like that, in all fairness. With that big drop, we've had a couple of pushes up and dropped, so something like that is a possibility in my eyes. So leg break leg. If we can get something, maybe a lower high here, let's get rid of it for now, because it actually, I'm just going to leave it there for a minute, just in case we get a higher low off this bar. I am putting that there because I'm only looking for a short anyway at the moment. Okay, see if we can get a lower high down here somewhere. Let me just adjust that so it fits, because I think that's going to follow. No drop. Okay, now it's getting a bit congested here, so a lower high or something down here. I'll be interested in another leg down there. I have a feeling we're going to get to the bottoms. We may even get something a bit more of a downward channel. Okay, lower high here. Don't break too high. Okay, now pull back. That'll do.
Order submitted.
Push up. Come back down. Push up, push up. Go on. Push up. No, that's coming down, that is. Go on, get out, have another test of it. Okay, I'm going to use a limit order here because it might move quick.
Order submitted.
Oh, is that bearish enough? Okay. Oh, don't do that to me. Christ almighty, when orange, I hate it when that happens. Okay, let's get rid of that. Market's got the plans, one leg. Maybe it's just retesting this. Let's see. Oh, I hate that. I hate seeing them go orange. On the upside, if you are streaming, at least it's recorded. You can have a look what happened. It's a little bit unpredictable. So we got a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. Just not sure about this. You could go short below there. That's one hell of a big bar. There was a lower high. The trouble is, market is going up at the moment. Yeah, it's a massive bar. That wasn't as large as that one. I may take that, but at the moment we're going up. Okay, there is a failure, but EMA is quite flat. I'm not sure about this. I don't know whether it's going up or down, so I'm staying out of it. Okay, so we've had this channel, we've had 1, 2 pushes up, maybe we are coming down. There is a failure there. I just don't like it. The EMA's gone a bit flat. There's a doji there, and it is stepping, so you don't know whether it's going to retest this. Okay, it did work, but I don't think it was without risk. Leg. Okay, leg. I think get a couple of pushes up here. It'd be nice to come down and make the low from here. We've had that channel down here. 1, 2 pushes up, 1, 2 legs down. A couple of legs back to here. Maybe interested in that. It's quite volatile today. It's moving pretty quickly and pretty sharply, and it's a little bit unpredictable. Let's have another push up. Lewis, where do you expect the next swing high low? I've got no bloody idea, in all fairness, mate. I'd like to make a new low from here. We've had this channel down here. We've had 2 legs up, and we've come down. 1, 2 legs. We've had 1 push up. I'd like another push up followed by a bearish bar, but it's already come down and made a new low from this channel. I got no idea. It's a little bit unpredictable at the moment. It's moving quite quick, so we certainly seem to be ranging at the moment, but where's the bottom of the range? That's the bit that concerns me. It might be there, so it may be going between those 2 levels, or it could come down to the bottom. But at the moment, it's touching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times there. So at the moment, that's the level I'm looking at. 42.50. You're on about down here, are you? That's around about this midline. Yeah, I'm not sure at the moment. It's sometimes market's quite easy to read and quite predictable, but at the moment it's a bit up and down. It's a little bit choppy for me to be confident to know where to trade. After this, I was hoping we'd get another push up here and then a bearish bar below there. Then I may have been interested in taking it maybe down to the somewhere around about here. But it's already happened and made a new low from this channel, so it doesn't mean it can't go back and try again, but it's very much choppy, isn't it? Above the MA, below it, above it, below it, above it, below it, above it, below it. So it's a bit unpredictable at the moment. I did look at taking that, but we go up. You don't know whether it's going to trigger yet and then push up and retest these tops again. I very nearly took that. I kind of wish I had done, but the trouble is, if it would have triggered me and stopped me out, the answer would have been, well, you've got 4 bars back to back minimum there. But there you go. What do you do? Sometimes you've got to make decisions. I mean, I'm happy just to get one decent trade a day. The last couple of days on my P account, I managed to get 2 trades. One I took after the stream. I got about $3.75 for that. And I got $2.75 yesterday, so I'm up $650 just on the one account. I'm trading the one PA. I've got 3 more PAs to come. I'm trading the one with 2 contracts and the remaining 3, and every other just down to 1 contract and going for more points. I like the 2 contracts just for the one, because if you can get a head start with that one and maybe withdraw something, you can keep topping up more. My issue isn't building accounts. I can do that. My issue is when I take losses. So I'm working on a plan for that. Well, I've sort of prepared to lose, if you like. It sounds a bit weird, but I think you've got to prepare for when it happens, what you're going to do. Let's put a stop limit. What do you mean a stop limit? Stop limit. You have the same problem? Yeah, I put mine. Oh, maximum 250. Trouble is, mate, I've done that before. And if it ends up being 3 points, 3.25 point stop, it will go up and hit that, and then may not hit your stop and come down. I will show you a video. Okay. Are you on about setting something within Rhythmic that if you hit a limit, it takes you out? The trouble is, I've done that before. And so say, for instance, you put, yes, let's say, for instance, you put a limit at 3 points, yeah? And your stop is 3.25 points. It could take out your trade before it's even had a chance to play out. That's the only issue I have with that a bit. You know what I mean? If you put it at $250 and I take that trade worked. Now, obviously, you know, it could come back, but if I put it a tick below there, okay, so there's 3.5 points there. Now, there is a possibility it could come up close to that and then come down and win. And it'd be a shame to get taken out of a trade when it hasn't hit your stop. Do you know what I mean? So that's the only slight thing I had with that. I was hoping we'd have another push back up and something bearish, but that was an inside bar. I didn't look at it. And it came down to where I expected it to. So this does seem to be reacting to price at the moment. Whether it will turn up from there, but it does seem to be working in this area. Let's see what happens here. So, but I know what you're saying. The trouble is, mate, I've done that before. I did it about a year or so ago. Trouble is, it takes you about 3 seconds to undo it. You've just got to go into rhythmic and cancel it. Now, if you're trading on tilt, that is not going to stop you. I had a chat with a software developer a while ago, a guy that does trading software. And he said, speaking to a trader, have you got any idea what type of thing you think traders would need? And I went, yeah, something that you can implement in your software that you could say, if I lose 2 trades in a day, it won't let me trade for 12 hours, something like that. And a couple of people say you can contact Rhythmic and they can do that, but not Rhythmic, Ninja Trader. But when you're trading with Apex, they're not your broker, that's just your platform. Your broker really are Apex, they're paying you. But it'd be nice to have something. It'd be nice to have something, a piece of software that just won't let you take another trade after you lose 2 trades. You know, something that you could install, download in your software. It needs revenge trading detector. Yeah, that's a good idea, mate. I'm liking that. Well, if you see, when you're at the cool light of day, before you start trading, you're nice and level-headed, aren't you? And if you can have a piece of software that won't let you trade for 12 hours, if you lose 2 trades, that would be invaluable. Now, whether Apex would have something to say about that, I don't know. I can't see how they've got the right to, because what's wrong with trying to control my emotions with a piece of software, you know? So, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's what most traders need, to be honest with you. I mean, I was even tempted to hire a guy with a hammer. So if I hit 2 trades in a low, he's going to crap me over the knuckles. But it'd be nice to have something like that. Something that you could just add on and it won't let you trade for 12 hours after, just as long as it takes you to the next day. Already have a user. Yeah, they do, but you can get rid of it, I believe, can't you? I used to implement one maybe going back a year and a half ago. I put down maybe $1,000 for the day, or I think it was $800 for the day, and you set it and it'll kick you out of a trade when it hits $800. Trouble is, it takes about 5 seconds to go back into Rhythmic and cancel it. I want something that won't let me trade. So, but I mean, ultimately, you've really got to be able to. 1, 2, 3. Ultimately, you've got to be able to control it yourself, but it's easier said than done. But I think you've got to plan. What did the guy tell me about it? You've got to plan to lose, plan for a loss. Think about what you're going to do. And then when you're in a trade, think, okay, what am I going to do if this loses? Now, 1 loss doesn't bother me so much. 2 losses, however, that's a different matter. I will do, mate, yeah. I think it'd be worth its weight in gold. I did say to this guy, people will pay £100 for a little bit of software like that you can just add on. But I don't know how Apex would feel about that, because that's where they make most of their money, people going on tilt. 2 losses can be sorted. Yeah. Okay, so let's see if we can get a high-low here. Trouble is around that. It's around the midline of this. Not enjoying this price action now. It's a little bit choppy, mate, isn't it? My friend taught me a rule. 2 back-to-back losses, he quits for the day, or 3 accumulative. Yeah, see, the rules are easy to figure, to come out with a rule, but it's following the rules is the hard bit. Once that panic sets in and you go on tilt, it almost takes over. Now, all the information that I've ever read about that, there's a lady I watch now and again called Creda. She's a trader coach, and she said it's called dissociation. It's something that's set back in your roots from many thousands of years. It's fight or flight. So every one of us have been in a punch up sometime in your life, and what do? It's very hard to go in there calmly, isn't it? You start literally swinging like a crazy man, don't you? All the rules and planning go out the window. And there's a thing I've mentioned a few times. When I was about 13 or 14, my stepdad rolled me into boxing classes. And I remember going with a buddy of mine, and after about 3 months we'd been there, they put me in a ring with another lad. And I remember going in there and just, it was all a big blur. It was like the red mist comes down and you don't think what you're doing. Panic sets in. There is a second entry long there, but it's very choppy. Panic sets in. You just start swinging like crazy. But then when some of the more experienced guys sort of came in and jumped in the ring, they were a lot calmer. Because there's a lot of emotions involved in something like that. If you're ever in a fight with someone, there's a lot of emotions and it's very hard to control. But when you've been in boxing classes, maybe you train for a year, 2 years, 3 years, you get, you see, professional boxers, they're very calm, they're very controlled. And that comes with, in my opinion, having those emotions enough times for your body and your mind to start reacting to them, not in a panicked way. Everyone, that's it. Exactly. But if it happens to a boxer, they're a lot more calm, aren't they? Because they've had those emotions again and again and again. And I believe the more you trade and the more we have these emotions day by day, sooner or later they won't affect you as much. You won't panic as much. Once you've had something happen to you many times, at some point there is a degree of the panic goes. You probably still feel it, but it's the panic that sets in and the stress levels that set in that make you go, I want that money back. And you just double up or triple up to try and get it back. And we've all done it. But I think the more you do it, the more you get used to those emotions, the more they become part of your everyday. At some point, they won't have the same effect, that panicked effect. Now, I can tell the difference now when I'm trading evaluations to when I'm trading PA accounts. Evaluations used to scare the shit out of me. I remember sitting and watching a trade in evaluation and my neck felt like it had a vice around it. I was grinding my teeth. I don't do that anymore because I'm used to it a bit more. But obviously, when you move to PA, it takes you up to that next level again, which is why I've never sort of had that desire to try and get 20 or 10 accounts in one go. I'm trying to build up slowly. I've got 1 live now and I've got 3 coming, and 4's enough for me, I think. I know Wilson lost 20 not so long back. That must have been absolutely gut-wrenching. And who's the other guy? Moo guys, he lost 20. So that must be devastating. I think it's too much, personally. I think you need to build up there. Maybe just take 1 until you make a bit of money, and then add a few, maybe 2 or 3 to it, and build up. I don't think you can handle 20 contracts in one go. It's too emotionally tough. I certainly couldn't anyway. And if you're paying for the one-off fee, what is it, $140? Imagine that times 20. That's $2,800 plus the money you spent on fee. That's a lot of money to chuck out the window. So I went from 1. I managed to make. I got my first account where I got to pay it out up to about $7,500. That was back in January, and I took a $2,000 payment out of that. And I got very confident all of a sudden, and I think that was my downfall. You get a bit confident. You think, I'm doing this. And instead of having that 2-loss rule, I ended up carrying on trading, and I ended up losing $2,400 in the one day. And the following day, $1,900. In other words, from that first day, I was doomed. I just never recovered. And for the next about 2 months, I just ended up fighting with the market. I was just throwing money at it left, right, and centre. I was just going for broke every time. And then after I got that out of my system, I managed to get another payment. a few months later. And then I blew that account because I just took the money out. And then I think the third time I managed to get $4,000 out, but I know they were at risk. And so I've had 4 payments, 3 $2,000 payments and 1 $4,000 payment. But my issue really is not being able to build the accounts, is taking too much loss in a day, and 2 losses, reasonably big bars, can be $700, and I think that's a lot to lose in a day. So this time around, I'm trading 1 at 2 contracts, because if I can get that up, well, you'll get that up generally quicker than the rest, and then I want to use that money then to start having some money to put in, rather than having to take it out my own personal stash, like. And then I'm just going to take my time on the others and let them build. Once they get to $5,000, then I may climb up to 2 contracts, and that way you're never risking more than 5%. But this account I've got now, in 2 days, I've managed to get up to $639. So, and I'm just going to build this up to 5,000. And when I can get this there, I'll take 2,000, and then I'm just going to keep that as sort of investment money. But I'm planning a loss. I'm planning what I'm going to do when I lose 2 losses in a day. I've got this plan in mind. And in a strange way, I'm kind of looking forward to it because I want to see how this plan is going to work. I'm just trying to have a different mindset. I'm focusing on this being now a business. Because so much of the time when we're trading, a lot of the time we're sort of experimenting. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. And that's part of the learning. But I'm trying to say to myself, okay, you've made all your mistakes. You've took all your silly risks and silly gambles. Now you know enough now to be able to make money at this. So you now need to stop taking stupid risks. Take what you believe to be a good trade, even if it's slightly more aggressive one. I don't want to make things that strict that I can't make a mistake. Because my problem sometimes is I'm all or nothing. If I make a stupid mistake, sometimes it frustrates me to the fact that I take stupid trades. So I'm trying to allow myself as well to make a mistake and not sort of beat myself up. So I think you've got to constantly work with your emotions and try and get yourself up to the next level. But it is, trading for me, is like it's almost like a library. You start from one book on the left hand side and work your way right through the library to the other side, and you're constantly taking little steps and learning little lessons, and by the time you get the other side of the library, you know what's going on. But you know, we've all heard the saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing day in, day out and expecting a different outcome, and we've all done that to a degree. So all I do now is, if I make a mistake, I try and plan for the eventuality of it happening again, because the only difference, in my opinion, between me standing in the stands between me and being a successful trader is the psychological side. I believe I've got enough skills to be able to make money, although I still make mistakes, because, you know, although I am, you know, I have been trading coming on a few years total now, so I've spent a lot of time, so I know some things now. But, you know, I'm still what I would call an inexperienced trader. I'm sort of scratching the level of the intermediate, let's say. So I can make money, but I'm still making mistakes. My psychology is still being worked on. But I'm just trying to tell myself now, you can have everything you want. You can have a better lifestyle, nicer holidays. You don't have to spend your life working for somebody else, lining their pockets. But the only thing standing in my way is this psychological side. So I'm trying to focus on what I'm bad at the moment. I've got to call it here. Had a decent morning. Good for you, Ryan. 2 points, happy days. 2 points is good. If you can do that, 2 points once a day on 2 contracts, $1,000 a week, $4,000 a month. You times that by 10 or 20, you're talking some serious money there. People think money is there. Yeah, exactly. Play before reaching a withdrawal. Yeah. Absolutely. That's why I go back to work weekends now, so I don't have to worry about the income. Because if you're worrying about income, now some people might say, well, you're always going to be worrying about earning money. But what you've got to do before you do that is get your account to a sufficient level that you can take a payment and then trade without panicking. So if you can get your accounts above 10,000, that is a comfortable level that a loss or two or three or four isn't going to have a psychological effect. At the end of the day, if I give you $50,000 to trade an account now, and it was your money and all you're trading is 2 contracts, your stress levels will all but disappear. You know what I mean? You're very straight. Yeah, I move the stop loss. I don't so much move the stop loss now. What I do when I revenge trade is I change it onto 10 contracts. If the market goes up there, I don't think about are we coming down. If that starts to push up, I'll just jump in and scrappily try and get a few ticks. That's my form of revenge trade, and I don't tend to move the stops. I'm not as controlled as that, mate. That indicates you're in a good trade. I trade randomly. If the market's coming down, even if we're in an overall uptrend, I just sell and I scrappily try and get a few ticks. You get 4 ticks with 10 contracts, you've got $500. And that's my form of trading. I just click buy and sell. So I'm planning for the eventuality of... I don't lose 2 trades in a day very often. But when it happens, you have to be prepared for it. And I know it sounds a bit negative, preparing to fail, but 2 losses in a day is something that's going to happen to everyone at some point. So I'm sort of, preparing for it mentally. What is going on here? Okay, so maybe this is just a failed break out of this. Let's get rid of this for now. In fact. But you have to prepare for when things go wrong. You have to have sort of something in place for when things ultimately go wrong, and they will at some point. Okay, so we've got a channel here. We've got a break new low, failed breakout, pushed up nice and strongly. It just shows we have our weakness. Absolutely. Strategy sorted. That's everything else. We need to stop. Yeah. Learning to trade is doable, I think, by most people. It's a formality, isn't it? It takes time and it's quite difficult. But the ultimate challenge is dealing with the psychological side of it. It's, certain things that happen to us are obvious and you can see them. You break a leg. It's obvious, isn't it? But you don't know what's going on in someone's mind, and that's the problem, really. But I genuinely feel like I'm not as bad as I used to be, which tells me with time, my mind, my brain is slowly adapting, but it is a slow process, I believe. And I think that's why they have such a high failure rate, because people give up. I mean, most of us have been doing it at least a couple of years now, and it's quite a long time to learn something, and it is to have failure after failure, isn't it? And a lot of people will get to a point where they'll think, sod this is just taking all my money and I'm constantly losing, and not everyone's got that commitment and that drive to be able to fall flat on their face and have to get back up. And it happened again. In all honesty, and I'll be perfectly honest with you now, I'm up to 300 failed PA accounts because I just chuck money at it trying to get lucky. Not everybody can fail 300 times and come back. But I've just gambled away so much when the price is cheap just to try to get a PA account. I can't tell you how many. It's just ridiculous. I've lost 10 or 12 evaluations in a day just taking stupid risks to try and get one past. But I'm starting to learn now. I'm starting to, realise the pure stupidity of it. But that's what happens when the psychology gets you. But everything I've read, in all honesty, has said it's part of it. Everybody suffers with it to a degree. Now, I'm not saying everyone will blow 300 accounts, but I know people who've blown over 500. But I tend to cut corners. I'm a bit of a corner cutter, I am. I'm at 646 eval and 646. Well, I'll tell you what, mate, that's really big of you to say that, because not everyone will be honest with you. So that's big of you to say that. But that tells me you've taken silly risks, the same as me, but you've got the staying power to keep coming back at it. And that says a lot about you. So good for you, mate. Good for you for coming out with that. I felt embarrassed saying I've done 300, but it is embarrassing sometimes because, you know, some people look at you like you got two heads. But what I say to them, yeah, you keep coming back from that. That says a lot about you. The trouble is that the likes, I won't specifically pick on Apex because I use them, but we've got a leg up here, 2 legs back. Let's see, but it is very choppy here. The trouble is they don't make it easy when they make evaluations for $15. People, it's almost like Monopoly money, isn't it? You take stupid risks with it. The trouble is you get yourself backed into a corner. What do? You think, okay, I'll go through 3 or 4. Okay, there's a second entry long there, but that is a bloody big bar, and I'm not sure how comfortable I am taking that because there is quite a bit of resistance around there, and that makes me a bit nervous. You can see that, can't you? Touch, 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 touch. And I'm not sure I want to take that. That's a fair old big bar. It is 2 legs back, and it is sitting nice, but the EMA is a bit flat, and it is very choppy, so that's the type of trade you can get stopped out at. Let's have a look. So tick above it, tick below it. Yeah, that's a 4.5 point risk. I don't fancy chucking away $450 in the middle of this lot. Is it going to work? Probably. It is 2 legs back, and we are holding on this EMA, so it's probably going to get to the top, but it's too much risk for that. Is this a channel? Probably, but it is just a probably. It's a bit iffy, isn't it? Put it that way. It's a bit iffy. Moving stop loss and adding to a loser is a fast track to losing the account. I've done it. Yeah, we've all done it. That's the one thing we've all shared in common, isn't it? We know what it's like to get burnt, as Matt calls it. If you look at the 5-minute chart, it has the EMA 20 resistance, many trades. Use that time frame, including our Brooks. Does it really? What is it? The 5-minute. I have the 4,000 tick above my head because it's double this, and I think Brant mentioned he uses it occasionally, and I kind of like it actually. It's just like this, but it's a little bit clearer. Let's try the 5-minute. Let's have a little gander. Yeah, do you know what? What I'm seeing is the start of a downtrend. Now, I'm just going to drag this 5-minute in. Tell me what you think. We had this big push down. Hold on a second. Okay, we had that big push down. We've had a pullback, and we seem to be making a... This looks to me like after that big push down, we've had a reasonable size pullback, probably about 50% of it, which seems to be a bit of a level, doesn't it? And that looks to me like we're starting to work on down. So that's interested. You know, I see 2 things happening when we get a big spike in news. Sometimes it'll recover quickly. Other times it'll recover so much of the way and then continue on down. That's quite a big drop, that. And so many times, 30 minutes after we've had that, we'll be back up here to where we started. But we've pushed up and we're bouncing. So we've had a break, a new low, and we've pushed up. We've come back down and we've tried a couple of more times to push higher. And now we seem to be slowly working down. So that's enough to keep me out of a trade. But that one wouldn't have worked anyway. I don't like the channel. I don't like the fact that it's going up and down, up and down. It's just asking to be stopped out, that one. So it does look like we may be getting some stuff. So if we can get below these lows of the day and figure out some sort of a... Let's have a look. That's not going to do it, is it? Oh, it might do. It's a bit shallow for me, that. So It's possible. It is a little bit early, I think, but if it does continue down, I think we may have a bit of downtrend. But that's just a pure, well, let's call it educated speculation, if you like. We are not seeing that move up. We're not, are we? See, the daily's had a real hammering down lately, isn't it? Which surprised me because we had about a year or so, didn't we? About 12 or 14 months, excuse me, of continuation down. We had that big overall, didn't we, in the daily? And then it broke it. And then we spent maybe a few months literally gathering it all back. And then from then on, we've continued down again quite dramatically. So, it's hard to know what's going on here, but at the moment, the simple answer is you can't really trade this, can you? It is a good exercise on patience, I've got to say, though. Let's just put that there a minute, because we do seem to be, at the moment, but yeah, I do feel like I'm heading in the right direction. I do feel like I've made some progress. But I've got to say, when you do become a successful trader and a consistent trader, you have damn well earned your stripes. Because I'm 54 and I've done lots of different jobs and lots of different things in my life. I've tried lots of things. You know, lots of hobbies. I've done things. I did karate for 17 years. I used to do a bit of scuba diving. I did some skydiving back in my younger days. So I've experienced lots of things, experiences and fun. And I've had nothing that has surprised me like this on how difficult and how emotionally it is tough this is. I can control my emotions if I jump out of an aeroplane. I can't control my emotions if I take 2 losses in a row. Okay, so let's see if there's definitely some resistance here. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, see, 1 minute I think we're coming down. Next minute we just smash up straight up. Let's put this over there for now, because this is as high as we've been. Yeah, I think you might be right, mate. Yeah, some days it's very predictable, and others it just seems to just randomly do things. Yeah, when we had we sort of had this break of this big spike after this news. We came down, we started working up. We had a break, come up, made a new high, and we made another attempt to go higher. And then it did seem like we may be working down, obviously, because sometimes when we get this, that's what I mean. Sometimes we'll recover all this back pretty quickly. Other times we'll get a couple of pullbacks, and then it'll, like did the other day, just continue on down for the rest of the day. But I thought after this be lower than that, and then this, and then this, I thought maybe we're going to start teetering down, but and then that happens. It just tells you it's a bit of an unpredictable, choppy day. But we do get them sometimes, don't we? But more than we like. Will you take a trade if you see a rejection? I tend to not pick tops, mate, because in all fairness, I'm shit at them. I don't have a lot of luck with them, so I stay away from them. That's not to say I'll never take them. If I see if it's on a very rare occasion, it bounces exactly the same place every time it hits the top. If we get a push up and a quick, strong rejection, sometimes if it pushes up and it drops quickly, that tells me there's some decent sized sell orders up there. So on the odd occasion, I might. But for the mostly, I tend to avoid them because I'm naff at them, in all fairness. It's not one of my strong points. Because it is unpredictable, isn't it, at the moment? So I've had 2 trades since I started this PA account, and I kind of want to keep my 100% record at the moment. I wish I'd have taken that one now. It is a little bit congested, but there was a second entry long there which triggered, and there was another long which triggered there. So how do you ever call that? That I kind of liked. Pushed down, went a bit sideways, nice bearish bar. I like that. But because it is a little bit congested, so you can trade congestion if you know what you're looking at. But it was just a little bit too much sideways for me. But it did work nonetheless. And there was another one up here, wasn't there? There was a failure there. I was tempted to take that, but I think the bar was a bit big, so I left it. But it did work. But I don't mind. It doesn't bother me leaving trades anymore. I used to kick myself and jump into another trade a bit randomly because I was frustrated with leaving them, but it didn't bother me now. You know, I've watched some of these experienced traders. There's a guy I follow, spread betting. Quite an experienced trader, been doing it a lot of years, and I've heard a few people say it never bothers me letting a trade go because the one thing you're guaranteed with that is not to lose a penny. So it doesn't affect me that much. I learnt when I check Mac's review on his chart, the reviews ends up with 3 hours and 30 minutes Eastern time. Does it mean he only trades until 3? I would say so, mate. Yeah. I don't know how long he trades really, because Mac marks everything literally from the open. I think he trades from 1 hour before the official open to after. So it's hard to say really, mate. But I have heard Max say sometimes, it does say a lot, you take that one and you're done for the day. So I dare say he does have shorter days. But he does mark the chart, obviously after the fact. And you know that, but when you see him marking 15 high probability trades a day. So yeah, just be aware when you're looking at Max. Although he marks that many trades, he only takes 2 to 3 a day. He's told me that a couple of times, and I've heard him mention it a bunch of times in the stream. So don't think if he's marking 12 trades, then you missed a load, because you just take the best of them. 1 or 2 trades a day, a couple of trades, and if you do 2 winning trades every day, you'll make a fortune. It's not a lot. You don't need a lot. I've had 1 trade yesterday, 1 trade day before, and I'm pleased as punch about that. Okay, so we got a channel here. We've had a break, couple of pushes up to a new low, high. Sorry, there is an area where it's, but I'm not a fan of taking these, because I wouldn't be shocked if we have that leg up, break, 2 attempts to go lower, and then push for. I wouldn't be shocked if we carry on up. So I'm just not getting involved in here. Okay, so it looks like we may recover most of that. Let's see, where did it drop to there, didn't it? So around about the 42.90. Well, more 42.95 where it actually originally had that drop. So a lot of the times it does just literally come back to where it finished, and the way that's going up. Okay, so that would take us up to there anyway, which is the yesterday afternoon's open. So it does look to me like that's not slowing down. In fact, if we can get a break here, I'd even go long on that, I would. If we can get maybe 2 legs back. Excuse me a sec. Okay, let's have a drink of water. Let's have a look. Okay, it's bouncing at that low there. Is this a spike in channel? What time is it? Have you got anything from Mac yet? Anybody know? No, not as yet. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's anywhere close to slowing down there. Okay, so that's where we initially encountered the news and then we dropped. So a lot of times we do gather it all back, but there's a leg up there and a leg up there. So I'd like to get a couple of legs back here, really. Once we get above there, I'm not thinking about long now. Okay, come on. Okay, excuse me, just 1 second. Okay, let's have a look. We are going a bit sideways here, so if we can get something out of here, we might not. It might just push straight to it. Come on down. Come on down. Come on. Two legs. Come on. Let's have a look. Now, that second leg, if that's a leg, would take us up here. So there is, we're close to that. So there is room here if we can get something. That's just a bit too far from the MA for me. But it looks like it's going to work. There'll probably be a few stops there. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Ooh. I hate going long into that type of thing. Okay, it worked. When it does that, it gets these wicks. Sometimes when you get into trade, it'll trigger you and then come down for a second leg. So I tend to stay away with that. There's no stopping that. Yeah, it's only really a first entry, isn't it? We've got a matching high of that one. And it is a little bit sideways, which just says there's a bit of caution there. I've lost trades and been trapped in trades like that. It's right in the middle of that. You don't know if we're going to have one leg and then another leg, and then push up with a wider channel, maybe incorporating it. I don't know. I don't think this could be widened. It's hard to say, really, because it kind of works. I like the way it's still going sideways, which usually tells me it may continue on up. But I don't like the way it's spiking around there. Let's have a look. Hopefully, if we get Max chart, we haven't got it yet, so he may incorporate this. It'd be interesting to see what his take is on this. So we've had a break there. Depending on how you see that, I'm not a massive fan of that channel. But I'd like to say we've had a break and a new high. There is a lower high there, but the EMA is flat as a pancake, and it is congested. So, okay, excuse me, just for 2 minutes. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay, right, let me have a look, see if there's something bigger working here. Or is this just a break and a new high? Yeah, I think that's the break. I like the way it's gone sideways to there and pushed. So I kind of like that. There's our break. A lot of the time we see it, don't we? We push up to this corner and then we go sideways, and when we get a decent barrier, we push up, and it pushed up to that. So that's played out. I'm going to get rid of this because it's only a few ticks. It's only a few ticks below there. It just makes the picture a bit clearer. So let's have a look on a bigger time frame. Okay. So we got a leg and a leg. Leg. That played out nicely. I thought for a minute we were going to be looking bearish, but we've basically almost recovered all that drop. So it'd be interesting to see, because I looked at that, the daily. Mac was talking about the daily. It could really strongly push up from here, but obviously the news can you can put that straight out the door. But obviously there was clearly the news there, but now we've recovered quite surprisingly. I thought we were going to start pushing down, so maybe we are going to get maybe a break above here and maybe continue right up. So it's hard to say. Let's see. I want something from Mac, ideally incorporating this just to see what his take is on it. Yes, excellent. I mean, in all fairness, that may come out to here now. It may just be a two-tiered channel. In fact, without looking at Max yet, that may be the case. It actually fits really nice, in all fairness. We've got a leg up. Let's have a look, see what he's given us. Oh, hey. Okay. 6, yeah, okay. Hold on a minute. Oh, okay. So Max got this. I had a feeling that there was a... We looked like I'm working our way down, and Max got that from there to there. So I think Mac had that feeling, so he obviously didn't envisage this. But yeah, you can see he's got that there. After that big spike push up, he's got this coming down in a channel. To be honest with you, when it only came back to here, it started coming down. I thought we were coming down, but obviously market's got other ideas. So really strong push up there. So is that a two-tiered channel? And is this break going to continue on up? Good for you, mate. I'm calling it a day. Good on you, mate. Always nice to get into the weekend ending in green, isn't it? You feel better. Thank you, mate. Headaches and computer screens are lazy. Yeah. If it continues, I might switch over to a dark screen, and it might be the case. I don't know, but we shall see. Yeah. So have a great weekend, Indy. Take it easy, buddy. Okay, so drop. Yeah, you got to be careful here. So. It's a bit shallow for me, that. Oh. I thought for a minute we're going to have a leg up and then maybe another leg up. And it did look like it was sort of working in a two-tier channel there, so maybe not. I suppose that's always a possibility. Not sure about that just yet. Okay, it is continuing up by the looks of things, unless it's just retesting this. That's where the news came in, so we're not a million miles away from there now, so... Excuse me a sec. Okay, let's have a look. Are we going in this little angle here? I do have a feeling from seeing that, seeing the daily yesterday, Max seemed to have the feeling we were going to move up as well. It is looking like it, so maybe we're going to have a couple of legs and maybe sort of a bigger pattern. I don't know, really. That's just, I'm not sure about that. It's a bit shallow for me. Maybe it's just going to go a bit sideways. So I'm just going to get rid of it for a minute. Okay, it's not slowing down. What's going on here? Where's the EMA bud? Around about where? Here? Yeah, see, on my strategy, we just use the 21 day. It does look like it is trying to push up, but you just never know, do you? I mean, depending on how you look at that chart, I kind of like that. We've pushed up. We often do that. Go to the far left-hand side of it, and then work our way across, and then push up again. So for me, I like that. It looks like a two-tier channel. We've had two quick legs up and working in this top tier. We've had a sort of little push up, come back and working in this tier. So we've had a break, and it just... I'm just on the fence of whether I think it's going up or down at the moment, because it is slowly grinding, but a lot of times it'll do that. It's triggered above there. You might think, oh yeah, that's a nice big bullish bar, let's go long there, and then look what happens. So sometimes it does this, and it almost teases longs to get in. Once longs pick up positions like that one, as soon as we're going up but sideways, you're thinking, oh yeah, we're pushing up. Nice big bullish bar, green right from top to bottom. What happens? Triggers above, comes straight down, stops it out. So it may do a bit of sideways, it may come down, it may just continue up, but a lot of times when it does that, it'll just nip off weak positions, and that for me, it's just right in the middle of that sideways, and that just is asking for something. But so whether we end up, I don't know, having something like that, it's possible. It does look like it's slowly working higher, but it's not a very steep angle, and sometimes you can get you trapped there. I learnt the hard way. Leg. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, make a cup of tea. How long have we been trading for? Hour and a half, just about. Cup of tea time. Okay, don't do anything I wouldn't do. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Quick cup of tea, I'll be back. Okay, let's have a look. Looks like it's about to reverse. You may be right, mate. Okay, so we've had a break there. Depending on where you look at it, if you look that a bit tighter, we've had a break in a new high, or if you look at it like that, we've had a break in a new high. You just don't know, do you? It does look like it. Trouble is, some people, I've noticed some traders, when they get a break, straight away looking for shorts, and I tend to not do that. I tend to try and let it go a bit first, maybe try and come back and retest and continue on down, really. I just try and avoid that. Maybe it's going to have a couple of legs and then continue up. If we are going to get a big push up, see, it's probably a bit too low, but no, it's way too low, that. No, forget it. Yeah, said anything. Let's have a look. I think with me, I tend to be a bit overcautious. I've sort of gone from one extreme to the other, but that's all part of it, I think. Okay, so there may be something coming down there. It's not quite steep enough. I'd rather give it a chance to, because it is still a bit sideways. Yeah, I've gone from one extreme to the other, to being careless, to being overcautious, but that's all right. That'll probably sort itself out in time. So. See if we can get two pushes up here. One, come back a bit, and another one. May have a go at that, we'll see. But it has definitely played out. Whether you have your channel a bit tight, or whether you have it as a two-tiered channel, either way, it's pushed up. Maybe two trades, light Marco and Danier. It's rarely I get more than two trades now, to be honest with you. It's rarely you can't find that many in a day, can you? It's usually around about one. I think my average is probably one trade. I took one yesterday, one the day before. But to be fair, if I can get one winner a day, I'm quite content with that. You know, I tend to go for around about the, I don't know, 2 points-ish, $200. If I can get one a day, that's $1,000. In all fairness, if you ask me what would like to be my minimum target for a week, would say $500. And that will give me $2,000 over a month. So if you can bill accounts up to maybe 6, 8 or 10,000, and just pay yourself what you earn. If you make 2,000 a month, pay yourself 2,000 and just leave the rest in there. So anything above 500 for me, it is a bonus. So 2 days I've managed to get to 639 in the 1p account. So I'm already above what I'm comfortable with anyway. So, but if I can get one winning trade a day, I'll be over the moon with that. Maybe to absolutely. I think if you win 2 trades, I think it's a good time to go and finish the day and enjoy your day. Part of being a trader is working less hours than the average everyday Joe. And that's part of the attraction to it, isn't it? You know, you're working from home, you haven't got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning when it's minus 20 outside, or wherever you are. You don't have to go and get on a train or a bus, or just go to work like the rest of the mob. I love the fact that you can just work from home. It's even better in the UK because I don't start trading till around about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's great for me. So no ridiculously early mornings, although I have started working a bit Saturday and Sunday just to get a bit of an income in, but I tend to adopt for around about the 10 o'clock in the morning to midday shift, so And the good thing with driving trucks in the UK, I can get sort of £23 an hour, which is about $27. So if I do 2 10, 12 hour shifts, I can earn myself a reasonable wage for that, certainly enough to live on. So I do wonder whether we are still trying to go up. It does look like it. I'm just trying to find a decent picture here. Maybe a bit of sideways, maybe one leg, 2 legs. I don't know. It's still a little bit. I'm still a bit unsure about what it's doing. It's certainly trying to go up, I think. We come down and then pushed up quite strongly, so I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence. The opposite of how we raise, number of hours you work equals the amount of money you make. Yeah, it doesn't. It's different with this, isn't it? Get around your mind, yeah. See, my wife doesn't consider this work because I only do it for 3 hours. So I try to tell her that, yeah, it's not about how many hours you do, it's about the bloody stress levels. The trouble is, with scalping like us, there is a lot more stress involved. It's certainly a lot more on your seat, isn't it? On the edge of your seat. You know, if I was sort of day trading, I was trading, when I started with currency, I'd trade the hourly and the 4-hourly chart. The hourly would be the chart I trade. The 4-hourly we would call an anchor chart, and I would drop a trade in, and I would let it run for 4 or 5 hours. I didn't even have to be at my desk, so it's not edge of your seat. The second you get in, you know, certainly get in. It is like being on a bit of a roller coaster, isn't it? This. Absolutely, Artie. Yeah, yeah. Part of the hard bit of it sometimes is not being able to trade. And it takes time to get your head around that. I tell you what, when I first started trading this style, I put about £3,000 of my own money in. In fact, I'll tell you what I did. Quick story. I was working on a building site at a bricklayer at the time. So I've done various different careers throughout my life. And this was about just under 2.5 years ago. And I'd been watching the two that got most of us into, the two guys, Michael Chin and the other guy. And I've been watching them, so I decided to get Ninja Trader, and I traded it on a sim for about 3 or 4 weeks. And I think we were in an uptrend at the time. Frickin' frack it. I think we were in an uptrend at the time. And I was working till about 5:30 in the afternoon UK time, so there's plenty of time to trade. There's a good 3.5 hours to trade. And I was trading 3.5 hours every night. And I was winning quite a few trades. And I thought, this is easy. So I remember a Friday after that, we had horrible weather. It was just naff weather, and I was fed up. So I remember driving 20 miles to work. And I stopped at a garage to get myself a cappuccino before work. And I thought, sod it. I'm jacking. So I phoned my boss up and I went, right, that's it. I'm finished. I ain't coming to work. I'm going to be a trader. And I remember coming home and telling my wife, I'm going to use 3,000 of my own money. And I went, trust me, I know what I'm doing. This is easy. And after about, after about a week and a half, if that, I lost it all. And it's very hard to tell someone when they get on a chart and they see an uptrend, and we know in an uptrend we've got to buy it in this area, and they buy and it wins, and they buy and it wins. You just think, wow, you've cracked it. You're going to be a millionaire. It's very hard to tell people how hard it is. You do have easy days. You have good days where it's really easy to read, and we get a nice uptrend, and when it comes back here, lovely big bar, you buy it and it works, and further up you buy it, it works, and you think this is actually really easy. But I when I was doing it, I had that little annoying voice in the back of my head saying, it can't be this easy. Surely not. And that's what happened. I ended up losing about 5,000 of my own money, 3,000, and then probably another 2,000. And that's when I discovered prop firms. And I often wonder whether that was a good thing or not, because that's where most of my money... I have got, I would say, probably about 2/3 of it back. I would say about another $8,000, $9,000, and I will be somewhere around about the break even, maybe up to 10,000. I don't know. But trouble is, you get 4 or 5 accounts, you take $2,000 from each account, you can get it back pretty quickly. But yeah, it is a tough business. This to me is looking like we're getting a good, solid push up right the way up. This is looking really nice to me. This is. I like the way it's just having small bars and it's grinding up. So for me, I'm really liking that. Leg up, leg up. I can see us having a decent push today. It's just looking like it. I've seen this so many times. You push up, have a little push back, continue up, pull back, continue up. And before you know it, by the end of the day, we're right up here, way higher. I mean, we're already at where we finished, but that news sent us down and we've recovered really nicely. So I think overnight highs, yeah, I can see it getting way beyond there. Just looking at the daily, it's way oversold. Matt was talking about it last night, saying we really are due for a good push-up. It doesn't always happen, but I suppose he looks at it and makes an educated decision. And to me, we've pushed up, gone a bit sideways, come back here, pushed up again. So I can see us, by the end of the day, getting right up here somewhere. So hopefully, if we can get into this domain and then come back down again, we might be able to pick ourselves up a trade today. I might even trade, where are we now? I was going to have a short day today, but I might just stick with the 3 hours, actually. Do another hour and a quarter. But it is looking, especially as we've gone sideways and we've had a quick drop and we've continued up, it is looking like it might be one of those days where we can, sorry about the cup sound. I thought I'd get one of those healthy berry drinks. What does it taste like? Dishwater. With a slight hint of something. Yeah, it's looking nice and bullish to me. I expect that ATR to come down a bit. What is it now? 248. Lots of little bars. Let's get rid of the small one. Try and tidy it up. Okay, so we've smashed through where the news was, and that's a nice recovery. That is. I didn't expect that after we saw that, but that's quite positive. That is. So I'd say I at least expect a measured leg, which would take us close to those overnight, well, way above those overnight highs. So if we can get something back here, we may be able to get us some, but that looks like a leg and a leg. Push up, sideways, and then some more. So there's our overnight highs. That's why I like having that. It's a nice indicator, that is. I always know where my open is and where the highs and lows are. I don't have to mess around, having lines and stuff. Got some nice weather in the UK coming over the weekend. I don't know what you're like, Sam. I know we've it's been really cold lately. In fact, we've had our heating on a couple of times, but I think we got 26, 27 degrees over the weekend, which is unusual for this time of year, but it's a last little push at nice weather. So I might have a day on the riverbank doing a bit of fishing tomorrow. Well, for a couple of hours maybe. Tackle that stress levels. Yeah, on the 4,000 tick chart, it's starting to look like a nice channel. We've had that initial drop, a couple of pushes up. We've tried to go lower multiple times. We're up, we're sideways, a little bit of a pullback, and we're up again. So this is looking bullish to me. So that's good news. If we can get something maybe here, back here somewhere. Well, I think it's also important to get up here, but it's looking nice and bullish to me now. This is leg. Second entry long triggered on the daily. Yeah. There's one leg back. If we can get something else, maybe to retest this where the news hit. Leg and a leg, maybe somewhere here. See, for me, I do want it to get up to this realms up here, but I don't want it to get too high to that. But I think we're going to have a really nice trend. It may just continue up. Sometimes on these trending days, they don't always... You think they're great to trade, and they are. They're easy to trade because you know we're only looking for longs, but so many times it'll have a break or come back to here and it won't give you a second entry. It'll just continue on up. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break just for a second. I'm guzzling water. Okay, let's put that on hold a second. Leg and a leg, maybe. Come back here. Come back here. Let's just get an order ready in case we get something. I'm gonna have
Order
to,
submitted.
I'm gonna have to pinch myself. Okay, so we're clearly going up. No argument there. One leg. We haven't. Have we made a matching high? I don't think we have we? Not quite. Or have we? We may have done. I don't mind. If we can get another leg down here. One leg, one leg. Now finish like that and give us something nice and bullish. Now I gotta go to the bathroom.
Order
I'll be
cancelled.
2 minutes. If anybody didn't take that green bar today, is it triggered you and stopped you out? It may come back here. See, that's that possibility. Okay, so there's a failure there. Failed second entry long, which is triggered. I'm still a bit cautious about going long here because we could come back to this side. It is a second entry long, but I hate it when they sit back to back with the same level like that. And even now, because it's so far away from this channel, if it is, I much prefer to wait on a higher low, so I tend to not take those anyway if they'd have dropped. If you wait for the higher low, I suppose it just gives you that little bit more confidence, doesn't it? My chart. And I restarted it. If this is a bigger channel, it'd be nice if it comes back here. and there is always the possibility it could be a spiking channel. Which could mean, obviously, something like that. Which could mean it comes down even further. There is that possibility of a spiking channel. I am taking a chance on a second entry long. It's just a bit, it almost looks a bit sideways here. It may come back a bit sideways here. I'm just sitting tight, I am at the moment. There is a second entry long there. But it's just a little bit risky for me, I think. Because we are close to this and it could come. Yeah, definitely reset the account. It's definitely a second entry long. The trouble is, it could keep coming sideways to this, so I just get a bit cautious. It is a triple test. I much prefer it when it pushes out and the body, or lack of, sits on there. They're the ones I kind of don't mind taking. Trouble is you don't know because it could go sideways before it goes up. It certainly looks like it. If there is a bigger channel here, which I would say there probably is, a lot of the times it might go sideways. It might drop out the bottom and then push up. A lot of the times, if you there may be some shorts here, see, and sometimes it might. I'm just not sure at the moment. Yeah, the thing is, as traders, we all judge things slightly different. So what might look good to someone else might look a bit cautious. And we've all got different levels of caution as well. I mean, some of us may be on a sim, some of us may be on a PA, some of us may be on a... see what I mean? Some of us may be on a an evaluation. Well, as you know, I trade evaluations different than I trade PAs. PAs, I tend to be a little bit extra cautious. I just don't think we're ready to go up yet. I think we're going to come close to this. Yeah, you take it easy, pal. I hope you catch a big fish. I think the last 3 or 4 times I've blanked. So you and me both, mate. Yeah, you have a good weekend, Darcy. So we've had a break. We have made a new high technically, although it's more like Cyrus. So if we can get a couple of legs down and then maybe a higher low, and it starts to respect this, then I might be interested in taking a long there, because I do expect some more upwards. We did the same here. We pushed up, went sideways, had a bit of a drop back to the EMA, and off we went. Same here, push up, bit of sideways, bit of a drop back to the EMA, to the trend channel, sorry, and off we go. So if we get back here, then I'll be looking for a higher low there. I tend to not take that first one. Especially if I haven't got the top side of this fitting nice, because the trouble is if this big channel is more of a spiking channel, we could come a bit further out. So I might get into a trade here off that first bounce, and it triggers and comes a bit further out and then takes off. So I am aware that I also kind of like to have this backside fitting nice as well, or fitting close to nice. So there is a possibility from here it could be a spike and channel, in which case this may come out a bit further. So taking something right on this bottom line. Major is a... Well, you say that. We're going sideways. We did the same. We pushed up, went sideways, had a little pullback, pushed up strongly again, went sideways. This to me is looking like I expect another leg. I expect to break the new highs of the day. And in all fairness, we were pushing up this morning, and then the news event came and it dropped. And now we're recovering quite nicely. So I still anticipate it's going upwards, but obviously I'm not going to take any old trade. I want it to look decent. Obviously I'm just sort of a little bit unsure about where this channel is. See, there is a possibility that we end up doing something like that. Maybe a spike in channel, in which case this could continue. I could jump in on a trade here and it could continue sideways to about here, and there may be a slightly less, it might be a little bit less steep. Now, I'm just unsure about which I feel comfortable with, so I won't be taking a trade here unless we get a higher low and it starts to respect that line. Then I may think about getting long in there, but I've tried to. Yeah, sometimes it'll do that, though, a bunch of times, and it'll come back here and then get some more interest or some more buyers interested. You don't want to buy along here, do you? If you think we're going up, where are you going to want to buy? It's going to be down here, down the bottom, maybe out the bottom of here, or at the bottom of where you may think the channel is. So a lot of the times we'll try and we'll come back and then we'll have a push through it. But I am aware that it has struggled. But you've got to let that sort of brain, all the things you've learned, that brain sort of make its decision, haven't you? But we had the same sort of thing here, pushed and then came back and then off we went. But I do anticipate playing out that leg or getting close to it. Certainly breaking the highs of the day. Looking at the daily, Mac talking about the daily yesterday, we really do seem to be due a good push up, and managing to recover after such a strong drop from that news, I think is a good sign. Yeah, I either want it to come back here and start working up. Trouble is, you just don't know where this thing is. That's the trouble. So I'm looking at the 4,000 tick chart, and that looks a little bit sort of nicer. Push up, sideways, bit of a pullback, and then up again, sideways, bit of a pullback maybe, and continue. It does look to me like we are working up. And a lot of the times when it runs out of steam in an uptrend, it'll go sideways a bit until it picks up some interesting, some interesting areas to get back in. You don't want to be buying here. If you're going to buy in this up, in an uptrend, it's going to want to be back here, isn't it? Or, so let's just call it an educated guess. But I'm certainly not going to get in there. I'd rather, if I'm going to think about getting in, I want it to be back here. Because it could trap some traders. There's a failure there. We've got a new low there. Try go once, try twice. Trap that second entry short. So there may be traders getting there. It may continue up from there, but I'm sitting tight at the moment. If we can get to this side, I like it when we break out, come back and retest it a couple of times, and then off we go again. I'm certainly not getting in here. Now, obviously, there is a possibility that it could be something along the lines of that. But yeah, there is a failure there. Maybe that'll work. If we can get above here, that's a good sign for me. Then I expect a retest. Okay, quite strongly. So there would have been some stops there, trying to pick a top maybe. But I generally don't think we're finished moving up yet. It's just looking bullish at the moment. I'd definitely like to see that measured leg hit. We're getting very close to the overnight highs. But I like a retest, quite a comfortably come back one. Yeah, we're not far away there. What, we're a few points away, 3.5, 4 points. We can do that in no time. Let's just remove that for a minute. I like the way it's working on a line there. That for me looks interesting. Okay. Trouble is, I was focusing on the bigger channel. We went sideways there, and we're working nice up that line. So, in all fairness, I don't think that was a bad trade. It was a second entry short. It's a relatively the bar's not too big, is it? So, what is it? 2.5 points, tick above, tick below. Depends how you have this, though, doesn't it? But it does look like it's working on something there, and so yeah, perhaps this is sort of like a channel up. Couple of pullback and another channel. So I was hoping we'd get a bit of a pullback, but I don't think we're going to. Let's see where this takes us. Right to that bigger one. So that to me is another reason why we're going up to these highs. So we're above, comfortably above the highs of the day now. So if we can come back and get another touch before we reach these highs, we may get a shot at it yet. But I would probably expect it, maybe when it reaches here, to come back again, and maybe then we do go into a bigger channel. So let's have a look. Yeah, so maybe there maybe is something there, but that's for a little bit later on. Want something down here, really. So that has gone up and it's bouncing on that overnight high. If we can get down here, couple of legs, that'd be nice. That's the problem. So many of the times it doesn't even come close and off it goes. Come on, let's come down. Okay, leg, now come down. Come on. I'd like it to come down and bounce on top of it, sit on it. And then I rarely take this first pull back. I always like to try and get a higher low just to confirm it. I suppose it depends how it looks. I have a feeling it's just going to continue on up. Come on back here. Here we go. Okay, that'll take us to that measured move, I reckon, if it holds. It is frustrating when you see that big move and no real entry. Just too risky going there. You've passed the highs of the day, so you just don't know, do you? May trigger you and come back down, but I have a feeling we're just... Yeah, well, there you go. I did have a feeling after that bar. Right to that measured move, right to the tick. Okay, so they've both played out. It is frustrating when you see that. When we started pushing up again, I had an inkling we were going to get something like that. Well, I can see it coming back to this area and having a bigger channel. In my opinion, there was an entry at the bottom of the range. Bottom of the range, on about here. The trouble is, I wasn't sure where my channel was, where I was comfortable making that channel. And it's a bit of a doji. I don't like taking them, but you know, a third of the way into the range. I like it when they drop below and sit on there, because I've been taken out before. If you've got your channel like this, and that looks right to me, it could have dropped and it could have triggered and come back down here, and there could have been a couple of legs. So it's just one of those things. We've all got to make our own decisions, but you just don't know. I like it when it does drop out there and sort of sit on there. Then maybe I'd have been interested, but it's just a little bit cautious for me. But yeah, I agree. At the time, I was ignoring with my channel, but yeah, you got a new low there. Try one, strap the shorts in. I had my channel slightly different there. When we started moving, I brought it there and it clearly worked up, but I had something bigger moving there, because really from there until it comes back and sort of starts to work, you can't really call it a channel. But the way it's working there, once we had there, but the trouble is when you see it happening, then yeah, absolutely. But there's a high low there. If you're not happy about that, the failure, you're going to take this the shorts out there. Almost definitely going to be some there. We did have a little quite spike there, but by the time it broke above there, you'd have had your points. But in an uptrend, if I can see a really good setup, I'm going to hold on to it. So I may have got out around here after that, after it starts to push up. But if you've got the nerve to sort of maybe put it at that swing high and then that swing high and then that swing high, already you're up 8.25 points. Now, as we're getting close to the top, you may sort of bring it up there, in which case you'd have just got stopped. But look, 14 points, 14.25 points. So normally I take around about the 2 points. I do 2.5 points. I try to get 1 to 1, but on nice channel days, and we don't get a great deal of them, it is nice to hold on. But I didn't have my channel drawn like that, because obviously we've got initial push up and then we're going sideways, and we usually go sideways and start working up somewhere, and obviously but I had this bigger channel, which is about frustrating, but there you go, it happens, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm just focusing too much on the bigger picture. Yeah, so we may end up doing something like that at some point, if it does continue on, which I have a feeling it may do. Yeah, I like that now, actually. Let's take that out there. I hate it when it does this. Let's bring that over till it fits nice there. Get rid of that and that. Yeah, I kind of like that. But yeah, it was a nice trade, that was. It's just a shame I didn't have my... Trouble is, generally it'll go sideways until it gets somewhere, but I had things slightly different there. That's one of my problems, that sometimes I try and focus on a bigger picture rather than looking at the one unfolding in front of my eyes. So if you'd have had that drawn there once you had that first little push, then you may have taken that. But yeah, it's well overdue, this big push up. So hopefully it continues. Where are we now? So, okay, that's... when was that? 3rd of October. So, okay, so that was 3 days ago. And where does that go? That goes to 4335 and 3/4. 4335 and 3/4. 4335 and 3/4. There we go. Oh no, is that right? Still got it wrong. Sort off. So yeah, somewhere around about there. Yeah, if you'd hold on to there, you may get a really good move there. 20, 30 points potentially. Let's have a look. Where has it gone to now? Okay, so that's gone up 20 points already. It doesn't hang around, does it? ATR's dropping, as I expected, so we could get a really good strong move. I wouldn't be shocked if we're up here by the end of the day. But that's frustrating there. If you'd have gone to that swing, you'd have had 14 points. In all fairness, because we're getting close to the top, so I'd have probably jumped out somewhere around about here. Nice move that. In other words, 20 points. If you can get 20 points, flipping on, that's 2 weeks good money, that is. I'd be quite happy with that every month if I could guarantee it. ATR's starting to drop. So I think we're going to get this just real kind of small bars as well. But we need to get back here, really. Yeah, kind of wish I'd have taken that now, but... Oh, wouldn't that be nice, picking up 20 points just into leading into the weekend? That would put me above my minimum to withdraw on that one account. So that, yeah, it's comfortably 20 points there after that push. I'd probably want to come out here somewhere. Look at that. Woof. FOMC. Yeah, it's medium impact news, so I don't expect too much movement. Let's have a look. Oh, look at that. 23 points. Woof. How nice is that? Oh, it's been a long time since I've had a move like that. I think 24 or 25 is the biggest I've ever had, I think. And that was on I think it was on an evaluation, I think. It might have even been on a sim, it was that long ago. Let's get rid of the big one for now. Yeah, I had a feeling looking at that daily yesterday, and when we had that initial push up, and then it was going sideways. I had me suspicions. God, that's so frustrating, isn't it, when you see moves like that? If I'd have had my channel drawn differently, I'd have got in there, and I may well have just held on to that. I do plan on doing that a bit more, so that now would have got you. Wow, 26 points. That ain't finished yet either. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a quite comfortable 30 points out of that. God, that's frustrating when you see that. 30 points and I've had $3,000 on that account. Wow. Hopefully we get some uptrending days next week. Let's hope so, Dre. Because we're due for it, that's for certain. We're definitely due for it. Okay, now how do you look at this? Touch, touch, touch there. Overshoot. Are we going to come back a bit? I just can't bring myself to take a short in this kind of market. You may see that as an overshoot, or you may see that as a smaller channel. If it is overshoot, it could come down, or at least maybe down a bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up having something like this. I have mentioned it. Fits nice at the back. Bit of an overshoot there. I won't be shocked if it comes down here and touches this. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Is just put that like that. Just out of curiosity. Okay, excuse me just for 1 minute. Okay. Ooh, what do we do here, folks? What do we do here? Let's just get rid of that. The trouble is, you've got to treat that as an overshoot, because I'm just going to remove it for now and just focus on this small one. But ooh, what do we do? I just can't bring myself to take a trade there, because it could come down to this side, which is a bigger channel. It is quite bullish, but for me, that's just a risky trade. One more point to pass. Yeah, well, just take your time, mate. Take your time. So that's pushing up, but I just think it's risky personally. I mean, it is very bullish, but take a trade. When does the 7 days run up, bud? If the 7 days runs up Monday, Tuesday, I would hold on if I was you, and I'll tell you why. At the moment, you're going into your weekend knowing that you only need a trade. So if it doesn't have to be done today, I would leave it personally and do it on Monday. Have a nice break over the weekend. You're going into there knowing more than 7 days now. Oh, you've been trading more? Oh, okay. It's very... I would definitely wait for a good setup, because when you get to just one trade away, you're itching to get in there. And sometimes I've got very close lots of times before, and I've blown accounts with a couple of $100 to go. So you need only one contract at a time. Okay, so I'd wait for something nice. I'd be cautious around here, because we could get a leg and a leg. There's almost definitely a bigger channel working here as well. So at any time it could come dropping down. Let's copy. Let's just do another one. Paste. So if I put that there, look how that touches perfectly. We're right at the very top of it. There's also something smaller there, but I think I'd be unsure about taking a trade here because it's had a big move, that is. We've broke the highs of the days and we've not had a decent pullback, so it could go up or it could come down. I've got no idea. There is a higher low there and it is working there, so it's very tempting, but I just don't know. When it's had such, and I know sometimes when you don't think it could go any further and it just continues on, it may continue on for another 10 or 15 points. But I'm just cautious around this because this could just trap a few traders and all of a sudden drop. So I don't want to wait all day nice and patiently and then end up taking something a bit risky. It is a second entry long and it is a higher low, and if you believe that channel's right, then that's fine to take, but I'm just a bit cautious. It's very tempting myself there, but nothing worse than sitting here for 2.5, 3 hours and then on a Friday take something a little bit risky and down it drops really quickly and takes out longs, because there'd have probably been some take that. You'd have got your points, and there is a higher low there, and it is looking quite nice. But I've been involved in trades like this before, and all of a sudden it'll drop quickly and then work sideways back over to a bigger picture. I'm not saying it will. ATR's coming down all the time, and when that happens, you tend to get lots of little bars, and we can get a good move. Yeah, sometimes when something, it's not saying it won't continue up, because it could do, but I think when we've come right to the top of a potential big channel, I think you just got to be a bit cautious, because sometimes the market's got a way of doing that, giving you this massive move, you're itching to get in, and you get in, and all of a sudden, wham, it just drops. So I'd rather miss a trade and be a little bit more paranoid than go into the weekend on a loss. Not only that, we've touched multiple times there, and we've touched there, so we're right at the very top of the tree. Yeah, I'm just cautious at these highs here. See, Mac will probably mark that. In all fairness, I'd mark that myself after the fact. But you just, because we are right at the top so many times and we see this, it just starts doing that. And if you get in here, let's have a look. You can clearly see a little bit of support there. We've touched 3 times there. You know what I mean? It's holding price there, so you just don't know whether it's going to trigger yet and go sideways closer to that EMA. So there's just a little bit of cautious effort. I mean, that's me personally. Everyone's different. Some might try. If I was on evaluation, I'd probably take that. But just the way we're right at the very top of this potential big channel, and I see the way it's holding there, so it has some importance, this area. And then we struggle to break there, and all of a sudden we have a quick push down. So sometimes it'll itch a few longs in, and all of a sudden it'll come down again. Stop them all out, go sideways, have a drop out there, and then push up. So, you know, when you've spent quite a bit of time losing trades and getting stuck in situations, after a while, you notice areas that make you feel a little bit uneasy. And that was one of them. But, you know, like I said, sometimes they'll just continue on up, and when you think something's not right, they'll continue up another 10 or 15 points. But what I don't like to do is, you know, I'm nicely up this week on that one account. I just don't want to take something I deem to be a touch risky just to try and get a point. Second entry long at the bottom of the range, but didn't take it. You're about here, that one there. Yeah, the one thing I'll say for that is it is a small bar, so you always hear Max often saying, let's have a look, so that is what, It's a point and a half wrist there, which is relatively small actually. And it is a second entry long, but just because we've come right to the very top of this side, that just makes me a bit cautious. I think we're either at the top or we are going higher. Yes, it is uncanny, really. Sometimes when you've had, a reasonable size move, you think it can't possibly go any more. And then you look back at the end of the day, then we have another really sharp channel going up another 25 points. But if you just look, I'm just going to bring the 4,000 tick chart in. Just going to open that up a bit. If you look at this, it's working nice in there, but we've come right, for me, touch there. I think that's close enough. It visually looks okay, but look where it's holding there, and it's holding exactly the same place, and then a big drop. So this is just a little bit cautious, but it obviously depends how you've drawn your chart, or whether you've got a bigger chart or a smaller chart. But we all have our own quirks, don't we? Where we're a bit cautious. And obviously the fact that I'm back on PA is obviously making me a little bit cautious. We've all seen that, haven't we? It touches the side, comes down like this, gets some longs in there, comes up to the top there, and down we go, taking out all the stops. The fact that there's 3 bars there all struggle to break, and then we have a quick drop, and then there's a little bar there, and then we get some smaller bars. You just don't know whether it's going to trigger you and come down. It could do. Well, look how it's resisting that line there. You can see it's playing, so you just don't know whether it's going to go up and bounce and push up, or whether it's going to struggle to get up and have a quick drop down. You are too cautious. You must be. Yeah, I am on a PA, mate. I think it's natural. Sometimes you go from one extreme to the other. You go from being quite careless and to being the complete opposite. But yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? Strong upturn. There it is. But what I found sometimes, when you see this big uptrend, the higher it goes, the more you're itching to get in. And I found there's nothing worse than seeing all that, getting in there and getting stopped out in an instant. It's bloody frustrating. Not only that, we're on a Friday, so I've had a good week. This week, I've only had 2 trades, 2 days on the live account, and I'm up $670 or $639. So that's a good start. Yes, mate, yeah. Copy to an Eve. I do, yeah. At the moment, I've got 1 PA and 3 PAs which go... Sorry, 3 past evaluations which go on Tuesday onto... back onto PA. That's the second time I've had 4. The last... I got going for about 3 months and ended up having a bad day, and there we go. But you've got to practice at this losing stuff. You've got to get used to it slowly. So... But yeah, when you've been burnt a bit, you do get a little bit overcautious. But I think that's all part of the game. I'd rather be a little bit overcautious than be the winner. Anyone who trade with the runners must make millions today. Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Trouble is, after this, looking like it's coming down, after we've pushed up sideways and this, if you can get into something along here, see, when we're going up and sideways and we have this quick drop and start to push up again, for me that's usually a good sign. We're going to make another leg. So if you can get in here somewhere, and God, if you can get in, maybe, I don't know, that one. I wouldn't take that one, I don't think. But having said that, you could say there's a little channel there, which there is, short-term trend channel with a break and a new low. If you can get in there and take that right up there, I mean, look at that. If I'd have held that today, I'd have made $5,000 on one account. If you got 10 accounts or 20 accounts, the rewards are massive if you can manage to get in right and have a little bit of luck on your side. But look, it's just not slowing down there. So just for now, I'm going to get rid of that. I'll leave the top one in because it is FOMO's killing me, yeah. Yeah, you do itch to get in, but guaranteed the one time you decide to get in is the one time it triggers you by one tick and then drops. So sometimes you've got to get in on these early. If you can get in there, I mean, that was the trade that I missed because I had a bigger channel. So if you'd have got in there, I mean, even if you stop, see, look, you're under 30 points there. You could just leave it there, and then maybe, in fact, to be fair, I'd be that shocked. There's some resistance there, but look at that, 38 points there. I'd probably have mine there now. Guaranteed 35 points. I've never had 35 points. I think 24 is my highest. But look at that. I mean, it's up to 38 points. Look at that. Wow. That's the biggest one I've seen the Gorilla guy take is 38 points. Well, he took 32 in the end, but the market went up 38. But he had the courage, yeah. Once it goes so far, if you took it here, once it goes past this initial swing and starts to go, I mean, you can say you can guarantee yourself 15 points there straight away. And then I'd put it there, and then there, and then there, and then you may still be in there, and then just every swing high. If you'd have took it up to every swing high, wow. It's just trying to get in somewhere. I don't think there was anything there. There definitely was, but you just don't know because we're going sideways. Where it's going to push up from. It was a nice setup, but after the fact, you can't deny that we know what happened. But after we're struggling to get up here, you are going long into support, and it may just come and sting you before it pushes back up. So, trouble is, when you've been stung lots of times, you can get a little bit overcautious, but I think that sorts itself out with time. Now, if I got 10 accounts with $15,000 in each, I'd have taken that on a heartbeat. But I could see there was a trade there, but I just have this thing, you know what I mean? But it wasn't a massive bar, in all fairness. As far as bar goes, it was pretty small. So if you'd have jumped in there, I don't know, even on the level there, you're risking 2.25 points. You could even get on a limit order. You could even jump in when it comes back here if you think, you know. I ain't finished yet either, is it? Look. We were due a decent push-up, and that's a fair size one, I think. But do you remember when we were here, and I said, you know, you get in here, you get stung, and I wouldn't be surprised if I come back later in the day and we were up here somewhere. Look where we are now. We've surpassed that recent high up here. Where are we? No, we haven't, have we? Where was that? It's about 57, isn't it? 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, or 5, 7. About 70. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe not. Bars are counting down quick now. Sometimes you get that little bit of a rally, don't you? See, you think it's too late to get in here or here, but look, even if you'd have got in here, you'd have made 10, 12 points. It is frustrating. Let's get rid of that. But, you know, if you can sit through that and not take a trade, that's good. That's a good sign with your patience, put it that way. It's so it's so tempting, isn't it? But I don't have that urge so much of jumping in now, which is a good sign, especially when you get such a big move. It is a bit annoying, but excuse me, what can you do? Excuse me about that, sorry. Okay. Now, is this a break and continuation up? Or are we going to get a decent drop this time? My only slight concern is this may turn into something on a bigger channel. If you have gone from here to there, maybe an overshoot, so we could get a decent pushback. So that's the frustrating thing about getting in a channel when we have this, getting into a trade. Wait 15 minutes after FOMC. Time's at 5 o'clock. Yeah, it's medium impact news. You don't tend to get a lot of movement, really. We're 3 minutes past, aren't we? But I'm not going to be too hasty getting in. Yes, if we are looking at something like that, there may be an overshoot there, so it may trap some traders. I'm just a bit uncertain about all this, in all fairness. It's a shame, really, but you need to get in early. This could be a bit of an overshoot on a bigger picture. We could have a leg and a leg, and we may even start to come down a bit. Yes, I'm just looking on the 10,000 tick chart. There could be a bit of an overshoot there. Depends how you've got that. I've gone from there to there. There could be a bit of an overshoot there. It's possible. So I'm not very keen on going long here, even if you consider this a break. Certainly fits nice in there. This is the first time it's come out. We can get two legs down and then a push up, maybe a higher low. I may consider it, but what I am certain of is if from there to there it's fitting there nice, isn't it? It hit Monday's high, yeah. It did. Hello there to you. me say that name. Mandalorian. Is that right? Mandalorian trader. How you doing, bud? Where you from? Where you from in the world? It was nice to have some new faces. Wow. Yeah, it's going a bit sideways now. We could have a leg and it may continue up, or it might not. It's hard to say. Are you from London? Ah, fantastic. Shropshire, I am. Shropshire. London. You got some nice weather coming this weekend, haven't we? Probably about 27 degrees for you. It's a bit of a change. It's been naff lately, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to be quite warm. Obviously, London usually gets the brunt of the heat. But it's been a naff summer, really. We had some really warm weather back in sort of May, June, and then July and August, it was absolute crap. Okay, are we continue on and up? I'm a bit cautious here. I've got no problem with not taking a trade today. I've had 2 trades, 2 days, $640. So out of just 2 trades, 2 days. So that's all right for me. If I can happily sit through all that lot of up stuff, I am a bit gutted I didn't take that high or low there. But there we go. But if you can sit through that and not take a trade, then your patience is working right. There is a higher low there as well, so that was another good sit-up. Just subscribe. Good to see another UK trade. Excellent. I'm transitioning to Forex. It's exactly what I did myself. So I'll be following your comment. Excellent. Good for you. Yeah, I started with Andrew. You know Andrew Lockwood? Just coming up 3 years ago, and I did currency. I did currency for 6 months. And I just got sick of having screens and charts literally blistering around your head all day long. And I saw 2 guys trading futures. Futures were, yeah, it is. I think the thing about currency is we all like to trend. We all like to trade a trend, and it's a lot easier to find a trend in currency because you can always find a strong currency against a weak currency, and hey presto, you've got a trend. But I do like, after trading currency, there's nothing nicer to trade one chart, one time frame, and that is it. No putting trades in, leaving them for the rest of the day, and that I literally just sit here the day and try to take a trade or 2, and that's it. It is much nicer. But yeah, currency is a bit of a ball ache, I think. Lots of screens, lots of charts. This is the way, absolutely. Most of us trade something called PATS, which is a max price action trading system. And if you ever want a little bit of formal training, he's about the cheapest guy in the world, in all fairness. Now, Mac's been a futures trader for, I'd say, the best part of nearly 30 years. And to join his website and all the videos that comes with it and all that is $125 per year. It's cheap as chips, it really is. And he puts a video out. If you want to see our sort of strategy in action, I'll show you his videos. You can get a feel for him and just watch some of his videos. And he's been, put it this way, you can see how long he's been doing this for. He's got over 2,300 videos. And his oldest videos he put on there 11 years ago. So as you can see, that's his YouTube channel. And he's got videos going back 11 years, 2,300 videos. So if you go up to date, the latest ones, he puts one out Monday to Thursday every day, talks about the trades. But he's a very experienced trader. So I'll show you his website just in case you want any type of formal trading. But yeah, $125 per year. So same again, absolute peanuts. That's it there. Priceactiontrading.com. There's loads of video, sort of video lessons, all sorts of bits and pieces, information. But that's where I went from, and I went to hit. Well, I was going to say I went from. Where's Andrew Lockwood? This is where I started. Where's Andrew Lockwood? There he is. This is the guy I started with. I learnt currency from him. And he's been trading for about over 30 years. He started in the London Stock Exchange as a pit trader during the 80s, and he's traded all over the world, and he's very good. And I did a 6-month mentorship with him, and he's very good. If you ever want to learn any of the basics about trading, watch some of his older videos. He's very, very crystal clear in explaining things. He's very good. But yeah, max price action trading system, $125 a year. It's an absolute steal. I've done that. I've had 2 subscriptions over 2 years, but I've been coming up trading this style now for just coming up be 2.5 years. 2.5 years at Christmas. I've been trading this style, but like most traders, you have your ups and downs when you're sort of relatively new. And I think most of us here trade the prop firm way. But yeah, if you ever got any questions, drop us a message. I'm quite happily, I'm just like you guys, struggling traders trying to make ourselves rich. But yeah, have you ever got any issues? My email's in the on the YouTube channel, and I don't mind some of the lads here private message me, and we have chit chats outside. But we're like one big nice friendly group here, with the exception of Brant. He's a bit evil. I'm only kidding. But no, we meet here every day, most of us. 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. So and Ryan as well, he's a bit dodgy. No, we're all right. There's a nice bunch of lads here, actually. We've filtered out all the riffraff. But yeah, we're all a friendly bunch here. We all like to go through the same misery together, don't we? What time interval are you on? Who's that? Me? What time interval? That's just dodgy. In fact, Sam Fife streams as well. He usually streams after usually when I'm finished, usually, don't you? But yeah, I'm about as dodgy as they come, so I'll make you look good. But no. Rez, what time interval are you on? I think I know what you mean. I trade usually just when the market opens, the New York time, which is around about 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, and if you're from my part of the world, 2:30 in the afternoon. So it's great for us UK guys. We get a lie in. Yeah, with the exception of Sam, he's the only Scotsman we've got. In fact, he's the only Scotsman we've allowed. We've had many more apply, but one's enough. But no, we've been here now since I think December. Actually, I think we're starting. Yeah, you can drop me any questions, mate. I don't mind. But I'm like you. I'm probably no more experienced than you. I've been trading coming up 3 years, and I get some success. I've had some payments, but I do sort of stumble a little bit from time to time. I have earned some this year. I've had about $10,000 in payments, but hopefully next year's will be a bit. But it's like 2 or 3 steps forward, 1 step back, isn't it? You have a couple of bad days and it messes with your psychology a bit, but I'm aiming in the right direction now. But yeah, we're usually here for around about 3 hours. We're coming up 3 hours now from 2:30 UK time, 9:30, which will be New York time, just literally 5 minutes before the market for main trading opens, really, where the big pocket guys comes in. But yeah, you got any questions for me? No worry, I'm a millionaire. Just does this for fun. I wish. I wish I was. Would I still do this if I was a millionaire? I don't know, actually. I do like the fact of having some company, and I know a lot of guys come on here just for another voice. Unfortunately, you get mine, which some people might say is a bad thing, but it is nice to have it can be quite a lonely old business, this, can't it? Sat in a room like a sado by yourself. So, but no, I do like the company, and you do get to chat with people all over the world. We got people from all walks of life here. We got loads of Americans. They get everywhere, though, the Yanks, don't they? We got a load of Americans here. We got Whoop from South Africa. We got Rodian from Australia. We got people from, I think Brant's, you Canadian, aren't you, Brant? I think if you're from Canada. And obviously there's a few here from the UK. We got, as we've already discussed, we've got the one Scotsman, or a jock as we call him. brands. Oh, you're DC, aren't you? I thought you were Canadian from Canada. No? I don't know where I got that from. But now we got people from all walks of life. And it's nice to get to know other people, and ain't technology amazing, isn't it? I'm not nice enough to be from Canada. They are. They're like friendly Americans, Canadians, aren't they? Are they Americans but without the guns? I think it's quite different. I don't think they've got completely different gun rules. I think in Canada, haven't they? Now, one of the things that the Americans have got is someone breaks in their house, they're legally allowed to blow them away. Now, in the UK, if someone breaks into your house and they climb on your garage and they fall through your garage roof, they can sue us because the garage roof might not be fixed. So we're ridiculous here in the UK. Someone breaks into your house and you can literally take them out. In America, I kind of wish I had that. Sometimes I wish when I'm on the roads here I had a gun in my glove compartment. They're Americans with maple syrup. That's the one. That's the ones. But no, they're a good bunch in here, actually. They're all right. We've got rid of the riffraff. But we've all got the same goal here. We've all got the same goal. Say in America, you can literally file a lawsuit. Oh, can you read? It's crazy, isn't it? The world's crazy. But yeah, see the gun rules in there. I don't know whether I sort of agree with it. I mean, you know, without going into too much of the politics and you know the right to bear arms and all that sort of stuff. Sometimes it makes you wonder, doesn't it? With shootings, we just don't get them in the UK because you're not allowed guns. You can have a shotgun, but it's got to be kept in Fort Knox. You can have an air rifle here, I think, fired pellets, but that's it. But the trouble is, if you arm everyone, we have an argument with a guy in the UK, there's fisticuffs and that's about it. On the rare occasion, someone might get knifed, but, if you arm everybody and give them the right to guns, you can. But America's a different place. You've been brought up very differently. It's part of your culture, I suppose. Like hunting, we don't tend to do it over here. I'm not sure whether they do any up. They probably do some deer hunting in Scotland, I would have thought, but we're quite a different culture. Although we're all from, sort of Western society, we've all got the same sort of values, but we're still quite very different. But I get the fascination with guns. I spent a little bit of time in the reserves when I was a bit younger, so I get the fascination. Guys and guns, we all like to make something go bang, don't we? So I absolutely get the fascination. Unfortunately, you get the odd nutcase and it spoils it for the rest. UK is a Dog Protection Act too. No, yeah, it's crazy in the UK. In fact, you get more rights as a robber in the UK, don't you? North Carolina, every household has at least 2 guns. Yeah. You just will not see a gun in the UK. You certainly won't see a pistol. I've never seen a pistol in the UK. I used to occasionally, there was a retired colonel who used to do a shoot, because I live in a big sort of military area, and he did us a shotgun shoot, once a month. But as for a rifle, apart from an air rifle, never seen one in the UK, never seen a pistol in the UK, nothing at all. You just don't get it. But we get very little gun crime. I mean, obviously, certain places in the country, you still get gangs. I mean, but you're going to get them wherever you go. But generally, I mean, where I live in the UK, you can walk out with your doors open, cars unlocked. You just never get any problems. We very rarely get murders. Very rarely. Once in a blue moon, but it's a different place, the US, isn't it? You've got a completely different culture. It's part of your culture, I think, with guns, isn't it? And if you grow up that way, you don't know any different. Then that's life, isn't it? But actually, I was watching bear attacks on YouTube the other day, and after seeing that, I think I'd want a couple of machine guns strapped to me waist in some parts of the US. But yeah, it's a pretty safe country, the UK, isn't it? Not a lot happens over here. We're quite boring. We get nothing that's going to kill you over here. I mean, you've got, snakes, spiders, Earthquakes, tornadoes, you get nothing over here. Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Yeah, places like Liverpool has got their rough areas, and I suppose some places in London mainly probably. But yeah, I think Liverpool's probably known for it a little bit, isn't it? Mind you, didn't they win culture capital of the world or something a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago? So I don't know. But yeah, you're always going to get your sort of gang areas, aren't you? There are certain areas in Liverpool. There probably is in and around London, certain parts. But you're going to get them wherever you go. But generally, as a rule, UK is about as safe. You know, you're safe here pretty much. I've never had an issue. I've never had someone ever, seriously threaten me or break into my house or anything like that. Don't get bears, don't get snakes, don't get spiders, don't get sharks. Well, nothing that's going to do you any harm. Earthquakes. I think we've had 3 earth tremors in my lifetime, but you can barely hear those. You get nothing. Right to bear. Bears have right to bear arms. Nah, but it's a very different culture. Although you're sort of the same as us, but I mean, I know the US is a lot more religious than the UK, but when I was younger, I'm 54 now, but when I was younger, we used to go to Sunday school and we used to go to church, and occasionally, being a military family, we'd always go on a Sunday, and then we'd go to the mess for a Sunday dinner with all the soldiers there. But it's almost just lost. It's almost become unfashionable to be religious in this country. I don't know anybody. I know one person who goes to church with a family, but no one else. It's which is sad, really, because you don't know whether churches are going to phase out over time. If people aren't going there, they're going to be around forever, which is a shame. But I'm not religious. I like to believe there's somewhere else. But I want to see it before I believe it. Which, if you have got a bit of faith, I think it's a gift. I kind of think it'd be nicer to go through your life, knowing that if you ever, when your time came, that you may get to see your family or your loved ones again. That'd be nice. It'd certainly take the worry out of, dying sometime in your life. Wish I was brought up in your time. A lot of the time, culture has gone. Yeah, things have changed. When I was a youngster, we never had mobile phones. It was probably about 21, 22? No, maybe about 23. I was 22, 23, I think, when mobile phones really started to come out, and they were like, the size of 2 house bricks together. It was like a big batch in that, but yeah, things were different back then. I sort of grew up around the 80s. Excuse me a sec. Yeah, I was a teenager in the 80s, I was. Nice era to grow up, that was. Nice era to grow up. But yeah, things are changing. Well, folks, I might knock it on the head. Are we coming down here? It's possible. I don't think there's nothing going on. I got my daughter knocking on the door saying, "When's tea, Dad?" I keep drawing this bigger channel, don't I? So we are respecting this, which is kind of okay, but it does concern me. Are we going to... depends how you're drawn that, really, doesn't it? If I quickly bring in the 10,000 tick chart, according to this, we're still sort of possibly in it. It depends whether you see that as an overshoot, but there's a leg and a leg. We may continue up. It's hard to say at the moment. I'm a bit on the fence, which is why I think it's worth just knocking on the head for the day. It's been an all right week for me. It's been a good start to my PAs again, and I kind of want to have a good ending. So it'd be a shame to get into a trade here and then end up making a mess. Having said that, we are... I'm just going to say a quick bathroom break. I'll be 1 minute. Okay, let's just do 5 minutes, see what's going to happen here. So we clearly are touching there, aren't we? But we've had quite a nice channel up there. So and still looking at this 10,000 tick chart, you may call that an overshoot. I'm not massively convinced it is. So you just don't know. Is that confirming that? It's certainly possible. So we could get some upward stuff. So I'd be interested to see what happens if we break this. I'm certainly not jumping straight in here. I'd like something like that, really. So let's see what happens here, and then I'm going to knock it on the head for the weekend, actually. You went long off the at the bottom, did you? Let's have a look. So there's definitely a little bit of resistance there, a little bit of support there. You can see it there, can't you? So we may get a leg and some more continuation. It's hard to say. But yeah, I think you have to pay attention to that. I don't think you can go long here because we're clearly respecting this. That's not to say it's not going to work. I mean, it could continue down. It's possible. To break even in case we make a new high, yeah. See, you have to pay attention to that for certain and what it's doing now, but we have bounced 4 times there and then pushed up quite strong, so it could trap some shorts and then shoot off. Sometimes I overthink things, I do, and that's probably a case there of a higher low. If I'd have taken that, I'll be surprised if a lot of people on the Facebook group don't take that. And same with that one earlier. But I tend to overthink things, which I think is part of it. You go through it. Like I say, you go from being careless to cautious and then overcautious and then ridiculously overcautious. But I think you find some middle ground. That's all part of the learning process. So it doesn't bother me too much if I miss trades. I just figure out once I see this thing happen a few times, then I might start jumping in. But it's all part of it. Trouble is, it could break here and maybe pick up some longs and then make a new extreme from this, make a new channel down. But it depends how you see this. I like the way that's working there. It starts here, touches here, so it fits nice. So we could make a new high, but you just don't know. Generally, as a rule, it happens more times than not, but it doesn't always happen. And one thing you can say about that is after we've had a break, we've tried multiple times to go higher, and multiple times it's got lower and lower. So whether that's going to sort of encourage buyers in here or whether it may continue just down, may trap some longs and then downturn, who knows. But I don't know what's going on at the moment. There is a possibility that we could do some sideways, starting around here, up to here, which may mean we may push up a bit and have another go. Or, but at the moment, this channel's telling us things are working down. The thing is, with all that support there, if it does get a short, I don't think it'll come right down to this bottom. I think we're going to push up a bit more. So getting into a short here, if you do get into a short here, I wouldn't wait to right till the bottom to get out. I'm not saying it's going to work, but that's just my thought process. If we do come down, which is probably why I'm not going to get involved, because that to me looks like it's found some support from there, and on the 4th touch, it's pushed up quite strongly. Unfortunately, not a lower high, although it's clearly finding some support along there. But I think it's going to trap some shorts and turn. I don't think it's coming down to the bottom. That's just my personal opinion. Could be wrong, and it's a fair old size bar to go short under. Yeah, you don't want to be going short on there. 15 ticks, tick above, tick below. And we're close to these lows. It could trigger and push up. I don't know really at the moment. It could come down. I'm a bit unsure. But it's certainly looking bearish if you just open your eyes and look, isn't it? But I don't know. It could trap you and push up. So I've just got 1 point past the lever. Good for you, mate. Good. I'm glad that's happened for you. Nice way to go into a weekend, that. When I get downstairs, I'm going to pour myself a single malt, so I'll raise a glass to you, mate. Good on you. Nice to pass them at the weekend if you can. It is. So you're going into the weekend now, knowing you're in a PA next week, so good for you, mate. So that is continuing down. In all fairness, though, it is a bloody big bar, but you just don't know whether it's going to turn tail and push up. It's hard to judge at the moment. See, although it's been up, it's done it in a bit of an odd fashion, isn't it? That reminds me, I've got 3 micros to trade, to count today. See how it turns around there? So you just don't know what it's going to do. This, for me, is playing a part in some reason. So whether that will continue up now or whether it will trap and come down, I think it's struggling to get down. And the way that's pushed like that and turned up quickly, I think we're going to get some continuation. But I'm unsure. 1 minute it's looking bearish, next minute it's looking bullish, then it's starting to look bearish. So I'm just staying out of this. In fact, I'm going to knock on the head there, folks. I've got no problem with being zero for the day. I've done this now for 3 hours, 10 minutes, and I've had the patience, so that's a good thing as well. Yeah, see, it's tempting to get into stuff like that, isn't it? But I'm just not getting involved at the moment because it is struggling to get below there. So I don't want to get into a trade there for it to tick and push up. I have a feeling we're going to break these highs. But there you go. So yeah, have a great weekend, guys. Good on you for passing your eval, Ryan. Nice sense of achievement passing it, isn't it? So there you go. So I'll be back here again on Monday. The weeks are flying. We'll be in November before you know it. So have a great weekend. We got some nice warm weather in the weekend. For the weekend. Yeah, you take it easy. So yeah, excellent. So have a great weekend, guys. Stay safe, and we'll be back here on Monday to do it all again. So bye for now.